Internet Kingpin, the hunt for the genius behind the Silk Road. Ross Ulbricht, the creator of the Silk Road, the first dark web marketplace where you can buy and sell anything. And by anything, we mean anything. Hey everyone, welcome to our channel. In today's video, we are going to talk about the genius who is behind the Silk Road. But what is it? Let's find out. The things you smoke, to the things that go boom, to body parts and assassinations will be delivered to your door by the federal government's postal service and some deceptively disguised packages. The site became so popular that by the age of 28, Ross was on track to become a billionaire in just 2 years, earning him the moniker Steve Jobs of the online drug world from the Silk Road community. And if the Silk Road had been a startup at its peak, it would have easily qualified as a unicorn, the elusive term for a company worth more than $1 billion, which it was in 2012. When asked where he wanted to be in 20 years, Ross replied, "I want to have had a substantial positive impact on the future of humanity." This was before anyone knew he was the man behind the Silk Road. Ross already knew he'd go down in history as a villain, not a hero who liberated people from the tyranny of the US drug war, as he hoped, but as a villain who got people addicted and killed. He was charged with 7 felonies and sentenced to 2 life sentences plus 40 years in prison without parole as a first-time nonviolent offender, less than 3 years after the site was launched. And now he'll spend the rest of his life in prison for it, which is a shocking result. No one expected such a harsh sentence. So this is the story of the Internet Kingpin's epic rise and fall. As the criminal mastermind behind the Silk Road, a story that spans continents and is filled with corrupt cops and paid assassins, a lot of money, and a road to help pay for it, all thanks to the good intentions of a young idealistic genius. One of the things you could buy on the Silk Road was a very popular stimulant that comes in the form of a white powder and gives you a lot of energy and confidence. It's also very popular on Wall Street. The problem with this substance is that it's addictive, has bad long-term effects, and is possibly illegal. Overall, it's not good for you. In the late 1980s and 1990s, Ross Ulbricht grew up in Austin, Texas, where his father taught him how to think through all sides of an argument. His mother gave up her dream of becoming a journalist in order to stake everything on her golden son's success. The Ross's story really begins when he went to college at Penn State, like most people who end up changing the world, or at least tried to. He was a smart and eccentric guy who was an extreme minimalist who didn't care about material possessions, wore hand-me-down clothes, and lived in a basement. That's where he met his long-term girlfriend, Julia Vi, who always commented on how cheap he was. Julia noticed a bunch of books near his bed one night and asked what they were. He explained that he was a member of the College Libertarians Club, which discussed libertarian economics and politics. When Julia asked what libertarianism is, he explained that everything should be up to the individual, not the government. From what you do with your life to what you put in your body. And Ross became obsessed with libertarianism. He would tell anyone who would listen about his ideas, and he would travel across the country to libertarian conferences, where he would have an answer to every possible political argument and objection, as well as one school debate. All drugs should be legalized, according to Ross. Not only does the government have no right to tell people what they can and cannot put in their bodies, but legalizing drugs will make society safer. How can you legalize something that kills tens of thousands of people, argued Republican and Democrat students last year. And Ross countered that he would also outlaw McDonald's Big Macs because they cause people to gain weight, have heart attacks, and die as a result of them. Should we focus on cars because people die in a car accident? There are no gang wars over the sale of alcohol or Big Macs because they are legal. Most of the time, millions of lives are ruined because the government decided to tell people what they can and can't do with their bodies by throwing harmless drugs into the prison industrial complex. The only problem was that theoretical debates were great and all, but what would he actually do with his life that would both align with his libertarian beliefs, make him a lot of money, and make his parents proud of him at the same time? So he dropped out of college, moved back to Austin with his girlfriend, and began his search for the golden idea. Ross appeared to try everything, starting a video game company, an investment fund, and doing odd jobs on Craigslist, but nothing seemed to work. "Nothing I've done has worked out," he grumbled. "I haven't accomplished anything great, and I want to see some results. I want to be an entrepreneur, but I've tried all these different things and nothing has worked, and I want to build something that is truly successful," he added. But then it occurred to him to create an anonymous website where people could buy and sell anything, especially drugs that people couldn't get their hands on because of governments like the US. This way, instead of having to buy your favorite substance in person from a sketchy dealer, you could buy it in the comfort and safety of your own home. If it took off, Ross imagined, the US government would be forced to legalize drugs, proving that legalization was the best way to reduce drug violence. It had the potential to completely transform society, and he would be hailed as the person who single-handedly entered the drug war while killing people and making his parents proud. By 2009, the anonymous browser Tor had already taken place, and the final piece of technology that Ross would require was the release of Bitcoin. By the summer of 2010, Ross had begun work on what would become the Silk Road, and it was no easy task. It was essentially the same as starting your own eBay or Amazon without any prior experience or funding. So he had to teach himself HTML code on the fly, and because it was illegal, he had no one to turn to for help when he ran into a coding issue. Eventually, the site came together, but there was still one problem. He couldn't market the site to potential sellers. So where was he going to get the product to sell on the website? To begin, he read A Beginner's Guide to Starting a Mushroom Farm. He rented a building out of the middle of nowhere and grew his own inventory, an investment that cost him around $17,000 and could land him in Texas prison for 5 to 99 years. Given that the Silk Road would end up earning him around $80 million in fees, his initial investment of $17,000 would yield a staggering 500% return. Ross Ulrich was arrested at 3:16 p.m. on October 1, 2013, a day earlier than planned. At the time, he was renting a room in San Francisco for $1,000 per month, which is unusual to say the least for a future billionaire. He went out that afternoon looking for better Wi-Fi and a change of scenery, not realizing that a team of FBI agents was circling his block. After finding most of his unusual spots overcrowded, Ross went to the Glen Park Library, where he was arrested. People cheered when the news of his life sentence was announced, but shutting down the Silk Road and imprisoning Ross did not help, even years later. It's not like they got rid of these things. And by the way, Silk Road had 12,000 listings when it was taken down, while other sites offer over 100,000. So they weren't scared of Ross's life sentence, as the judge stated, and they didn't put an end to anything. We sincerely hope you enjoyed the video. If so, give it a like and share it with your friends and family. Let us know if you have any questions or comments in the section below. Don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel to see more of our incredible videos. You can also watch our other videos that have been specially selected for you. We look forward to seeing you in the next video.